In this video, we're going to be looking at how we can do Bible memory using the flashcard feature integrated into RemNote. So we can see the outline that we created in the previous video for memorizing Galatians. We've got chapter 1, and I've copied in the first 5 verses of chapter 1. In order to create a flashcard, we want to put our cursor in between what we want to be the front side of our flashcard on the left and the back side of our flashcard on the right. And we basically type in : and this two-way arrow will appear. When this two-way arrow appears, we can see an example of 2 flashcards that appear. And this two-way arrow indicates that we are going to be testing in both directions. So on the left, the front of our flashcard, we're going to be given the verse number and asked to recite the verse. And on the back of the flashcard, going back the other way, we're going to be given the verse text and asked to recall the verse number. Now we can limit it to being a backwards only or a forwards only flashcard. We're going to keep this as a 2-directional flashcard for the moment because both of them are going to be useful as we try to remember the verse. And in order to create flashcards out of all of these verses we've copied in, we just do 2 colons in between the number and the verse text. And very quickly we end up with 5 flashcards, each of which we will be testing in both directions. Once we get to this point, there are 2 ways that we can practice flashcards in RemNote. The first way is to come over to the menu and click flashcards. That will take us to the flashcard screen, but we'll be going through all of the flashcards in our entire knowledge base. Now we can refine it once we get there, but the easier way, if we just want to practice our Galatians verses, is to come up to the top right, press these 3 buttons, and practice Rem, meaning practice all the flashcard bullet points in here. And we're just going to practice all cards, but we could practice with spaced repetition as well. Practice all cards. And here is an example of what a flashcard looks like in RemNote. So at the top, we've got the directory. So Bible memory was the folder. Inside that folder, we had the document Memorizing Galatians. Underneath that, we had a Rem chapter 1. And within that, we have verse 2. They're asking us what verse 2 is, and we'll get to that in a minute. The other things, we've got the number 8. This is indicating the number of flashcards that we are currently going to be reviewing. So the number of flashcards we have to correctly get through until we're done with our current review session. Now, it says flashcards for memorizing Galatians. We can click this and choose some other part of RemNote that we want to revise flashcards for, but we've chosen to stick in memorizing Galatians. We can edit our flashcards if at any point we realize there's a mistake or we need to highlight something that we get wrong, anything like that. We can either edit it now or tag it to edit later. And we can disable the flashcard in this menu, either one direction or both directions of the flashcard. We can preview the document that this has come from, and that pops up over the front. So if we preview the document, this is what it looks like. And we can view card metadata, which is just a whole bunch of information. How many times have we reviewed this flashcard? How much time have we spent doing so? Okay, so when we get the flashcard, we're looking at Galatians chapter 1, verse 2, and all the brothers who are with me to the churches of Galatia. Show answer. Okay, we got it right. But whenever we show our answer, we've got 5 buttons that we can press. We can either press too soon, meaning we just created the flashcard or we just saw the answer, and so we haven't given our brain any time to forget, and so this recall will not be as useful. So we could say too soon and see it again in an hour's time. If we've entirely forgotten it, we could press this button. If we could recall part of it, this button. If we could recall all of it, but it required a lot of thinking, recall with effort, and if we got it straight away like we did, we could press immediately. Now, it is worth saying these times underneath in each of these buttons, such as 1 minute, 30 minutes, 24 hours, and 4 days, that is the amount of time until this flashcard is due again for review, depending on which button we click. Now, we got immediately, so we're going to press that one, and this flashcard will be due in 4 days. Okay, so let's have a look at the next flashcard. Galatians chapter 1, verse 1. Paul, an apostle, not from men, nor through man, but through Jesus Christ and God the Father, who raised him from the dead. Okay, we got that right as well. Now, in 4 days' time, if we get this right on the first go and we pick immediately again, it's not going to push it out by 4 more days, it's going to push it out by a further amount of time. And that is because RemNote uses something called spaced repetition in order to keep these flashcards or the information on them in our mind as long as possible with the minimum number of reviews. Okay, so verse 4, who gave himself for our sins to deliver us from the present evil age according to the will of our God and Father. Okay, we also got that one right. And let's skip through this one. This is an example here of a reverse flashcard. So we're going back the other direction now. We can see the back, the text, and all the brothers who are with me to the churches of Galatia. And this little box here with a question mark in it indicates what information we need to give to complete the flashcard. Well, that is verse 2. And we got that correct immediately. Okay, so that brings us to the end of looking at flashcards in RemNote. There are other types of flashcards, and in future videos we will look at them and how to set them up and the benefits of using them. I'll see you in the next video.